Good evening, all of you. My name is Ishika Agrawal. Today, I am here to present my views on the topic Indian culture and Western culture. So, first of all, I want to tell you what is culture. Culture refers to norms, beliefs, rituals followed by a set of people belonging to a community or a religion. Now, talking about the differences between Indian culture and Western cultures, there are a very big list of differences between Indian culture and Western cultures. So, first of all, I want to talk about the religion. Like in Indian culture, there is much importance, like religion and spirituality plays a major role, whereas in Western cultures they prefers to be secular. Secular means they do not have belief on religion and they do not believe in spirituality. And in Indian culture, majority of the Indian populations belong to Hinduism, but Islam, Jainism, Buddhism are also being practiced by significant number of people. In Western cultures, Christianity is the majority religion that is followed by population, but Judaism and Islam is followed by a considerable number of people. Now, in Indian culture, people are very traditional and conservative about the social norms such as marriage, gender roles, and clothing. But in Western cultures, they are very liberal, and they are very, what we say, they are very liberal and they are very, I'm not getting that word.
Open-hearted like that.
Okay, so talking about the clothing, Indians prefer traditional, ethnic and modest wearing with the loose fitting, whereas in Western culture, people prefer whatever they want to wear, which leads to nudity also. In Western culture, nudity is very common, while in Indian culture, nudity is not very common. So, now talking about marriages. In Western cultures, love marriages are very common. People choose their partners to whom they love, while in Indian culture, parents choose the spouse for their children. And there is a matchmaking process, like parents choose their partners, not the individual itself. So there is a difference. Now moving on the gender roles. In India, there are some expectations from the girls and the boys. So there are some roles assigned to them. Like girls are mostly taught about cooking and household chores, while boys are taught about business and how to earn money. Whereas in Western culture, people believe in equality and there is no such discrimination. In India, India is still a male-dominant society where gender discrimination is still a concern, where girls are still fighting for being their rights. But in Western cultures, there is no such discrimination, and in Indian culture, people values hierarchical relationships, family values, and collectivism, whereas in Western cultures, people prefer individualism, personal freedom, and equality. And in Indian culture, they prefer to live in joint family, where the parents, the male children's spouse, and their grandchildren all live together in the same family, in the same house. But in Western cultures, people prefer to live in a nuclear families. So there is a difference on these families basis. Now coming to the next point, there is a difference of kissing and smooching. Like kissing and smooching is very common in Western cultures. You can see couples kissing, smooching and hugging on the streets, on the roads, or any cafeteria or anywhere. But it's not common in the Indian culture. Now coming to the next point, gynecologist in Indians, they are mostly female, and we prefer to share our problems with the female, not with the males one. But in the Western cultures, there are no shame to share with the male gynecologist. They are very comfortable with them also. So male gynecologists are also found there. But in India, it is not common. Now coming to the next point, smoking and drinking. Like smoking and drinking is very common in Western culture, but it is not very much common in Indian culture. And in Western cultures, like children of 18 or 20 age, they used to smoke or drink with their parents, and parents are very comfortable and they offer them to smoke or drink. But it's not very comfortable, or it's like if parents get to know about their children, like they are smoking or drinking, so they scold them, or they beat them, or they punish them, so that the children do not commit that mistake again. So it's not common in India. Now coming to the next point, tax is so high in Western cultures. Like it is about 50 to 55% of their salary they give as a taxes. But it's not common in Indian culture. Even in Indian culture, like people try to save their taxes, which leads to corruption also. So, but in Western culture, they love to give taxes because they also get it, they get in return also. Like government help them when they are in need. Now next point, like casteism is a very common in Indian culture, while racism is a common in Western culture. Like casteism is what, like we differentiate between individuals on the basis of their caste. But in the Western cultures, there is also discrimination, but it is not on the basis of the caste, it's on the basis of the color, which is known as racism. They discriminate black people, which we call negro also. So there is a difference. Now there is also difference of like believing in the God. Like in Indian culture, people used to believe in the existence of the God, that we call them as a theist. They are theists. In Indian culture, many people are theists, but in Western culture, many people are atheist or agnostic. Like they do not believe in either they do not believe in the existence, or agnostic means they are not committed to believe either in existence of the God or non-existence of the God, that we call them as an agnostic. So in Western culture, either they are agnostic or they are atheist. But in Indian culture, they are theists, they believe in the existence of the God. Now coming to the next point, like love marriage and expenses in the wedding. Like in Indian culture, we have seen like marriage are very lavish, they are very grand. So their expense is very much high. So there is a burden on the bride's family, not on the groom's family. There is a culture where like bride family used to expense a lot in comparison with the boy's family. But in the Western culture, the expenses are 50-50. Like both the families will expense the equal amount of the money, and the marriage is also not very much lavish. Now, in the marriage, invitation is also given to the close ones, not with the like very huge, like with the normal relations or the casual relations. There is also a difference of the invitation also. And the next point is like humility or bluffing, we can say. Like humility is very much common in Indian culture. Like people humiliate, like we are afraid of the society because of the humiliation they do. So we like it is very common in Indian culture, and we like here people bluff, like they sell duplicate items or they cheat them. But it's not common in Western culture. I should not say common, it is not at all in the Western culture. People never cheat there, and the real items are only sold there. And like people are also aware about their laws. Here people are not aware of the laws. If any if any corruption or if any wrong thing is going like in our surroundings, we will not like to interfere because we are not aware about the laws. But in the Western culture, they are very well known about their laws. Like they know what is right and what is wrong, so they can interrupt and they can like stop them while doing the wrong things. So which is leading to like corruption is decreasing there. So that's why corruption is not there. And like there is also difference of kids are separated after 18. They become independent. They live in the separate house. Like if they are not having money, they can rent them, but they have to live. But it's not a law. It's very common. They used to live in the separate house, or they prefer privacy, and they also prefer to give privacy to their parents also. So that's why it's a difference of the like separation of the kids. This is also a difference. And yeah, parents like to take appointment from their children who are living apart from them. They do not like to interrupt, and they do not like to ring the bell and like reach the door and ring the bell. They do not like it. They have some discipline. They ask them, like they'll ask their children for their appointment first, and then they meet them. And that's, and there are many differences of the like food culture also. Like food cuisine of India is consists of like spices, and it's very different from the Western culture. Whereas in Western culture, they consider meat in their whole meal, like in like breakfast and like lunch and dinner. They used to add meat in all the food, like all the lunch, breakfast and dinner, which is not common in like Indian culture. So that's it. And I want to conclude, like there are some pros and cons in both the culture. Like Indian culture and Western cultures are like the both the sides of the coin, but it's up to you like which side you see, and you should take up the like good things from both the cultures, not the negative one. And you should perceive in your future, like in your career or in your life. So thank you very much.